Formal exams are being ditched due to the pandemic and teachers will decide what results their students get. Ministers have marks will not be pegged to previous years, meaning grade inflation could run wild as teachers tend to be generous. But it comes as a government report reveals kids in every year have fallen hugely behind in maths and English during lockdown. Ministers are desperate to avoid a repeat of last year's botched computer algorithm disaster, which saw a massive public outcry over the unfairly low. All results had to be scrapped and higher teacher grades were awarded instead. Now teachers can decide to make their pupils sit mini-exams in the classroom to help them decide their marks, alongside coursework and ongoing assessment. These mini-tests can only cover topics pupils have studied, in recognition of the fact many will have massive incredible resilience. They will not be checked by outside moderators and schools must submit their results by June 18. Results day is being brought forward to the week of August 9th. So kids have longer to appeal grades before university. Schools, college bosses and exam boards will carry out checks in a bid to make sure results are, but they will not be cracking down on grade inflation. Education Secretary Gavin Williamson said, "Young people have shown incredible resilience over the last year, continuing with their learning amid unprecedented challenges while the country battles with this pandemic. Those efforts deserve to be fairly rewarded. We are putting trust in teachers. There is going to be no algorithms whatsoever, but there will be a very clear and robust appeals mechanism." Last year, teens received a record-breaking set of GCSE results from their teachers. The proportion of grades awarded at 7, 8 and 9, equivalent to the old A and A grades, rose from 9% to 27.6%. Teaching unions welcomed the plans, saying it is right that teachers decided. It comes as a Department for Education survey laid bare the devastating impact school shutdowns have had on children's study. Pupils in England were around 2 months behind in reading and 3 months in maths by the end of October last year, and researchers said the problem will have got far worse since then as schools have been shut again since January. Natalie Perera, boss at the Education Policy Institute, which carried out the study, warned its findings could be just the tip of the iceberg. She said, "These new findings show considerable losses in pupil progress were already evident by the first half of pupils all saw their academic progress penalized by the pandemic. Since then, pupils have faced further disruption as a result of this period of school closures. While teachers, parents and pupils have been going to great lengths to adapt to remote learning, the real concern now is that these learning losses could increase." The report says that pupils in Year 6 and Year 9 are worst hit, and are already 2 months. The picture is even worse for maths. On average, primary school pupils are behind on their arithmetic by 2 months. Zoom lessons to be ditched. The study, based on more than 1 million school assessments, goes up until last year's October half-term. Professor Jonathan Van Tam, England's Deputy Chief Medical Officer, yesterday said it is time for Zoom lessons to be ditched and for kids to be back in the classroom. Speaking on ITV's Good Morning Britain, he reassured anxious parents that the UK's jabs program should stop a school. He said, "Because we are taking out, at the line of fire, those older people in households through the vaccine program, we probably won't see the same kind of impact from opening schools that we probably would have. We're in a different space now. The welfare of children depends upon them going back to school. And I think we are in a much more optimistic place now because of the quite stunning effects, so far, of the vaccine." Prime Minister Boris Johnson has said helping children catch up on all their lost learning is his #1. Ministers have pledged an extra £700 million to give Generation COVID extra tuition. This includes laying on summer schools, beefing up the national tutoring program, and putting on sports activity. But teachers have warned it will take a decade of extra support and many billions of pounds to plug the gaping holes COVID has punched in children. The Sun says in one breath, scaremongers demand we follow the science, then they claim pupils and teachers will walk into the jaws of death when schools reopen on March. You cannot hold both positions. Not when the scientists insist school is safe. Chief Medic Chris Whitty considers the risk to kids incredibly. His deputy Professor Jonathan Van Tam says schools absolutely must reopen. There will be multiple COVID tests and masks. Spring should allow for better ventilation. Vaccinations should keep older parents safe at home. It's less risky even than it was last year, when schools were judged not a significant driver of